All right, as promised, we're going to go through this arthropod comparison chart today and make sure that you have understood the differences between these different classes of arthropods. So we'll start with the crustaceans, which is the class that the crayfish was in. It's the same class that the lobster is in. They have two body regions. They've got the cephalothorax, which is where those first two sections, the head and the thorax, are fused together to make a cephalothorax, and then they also have an abdomen. So two main body regions here. 4 or more pairs of walking legs. The crayfish that you dissected had 4 pairs, but there are some other crustaceans that are going to have more pairs. 2 pairs of antennae. You'll recall that you saw both the antenna and the antennules. They're used for basically the same functions. Their excretory system is made up of green glands. Our excretory system, of course, is going to have kidneys to get the poisons and toxins out of our blood, but with the crustaceans, they're going to have green glands for that. They've got digestive glands to aid in digestion. Now they do also they go from the mouth to the esophagus to the stomach. The stomach, if you recall, then is going to send that food 2 different directions. It's either going to send it to the intestine if it's larger chunks, larger pieces that still need to be broken down and digested, or if the pieces are small enough, then it will go directly to the digestive glands to be digested. So they have digestive glands here that makes them different from some of these other classes. And they do breathe with gills, because you saw those as you were dissecting the crayfish as well. Then when we get into the arachnids, the spiders, they have 2 body regions, just like the crustaceans do, the cephalothorax and the abdomen, 4 pairs of walking legs. Everybody knows that spiders have 8 legs, so that's, again, something that wasn't surprising to you, I'm sure. They do not have any antenna. They also have digestive glands, just like the crustaceans did. However, because our spiders live on land and not in the water, they're not going to need gills, so they're going to be using book lungs instead. And so you saw how those were kind of layered together, those book lungs to enable them to breathe. And then a couple of the other things that you may have noticed about the arachnids were that they do have 4 pairs of simple eyes, along with poison fangs. Okay, then when you get into your chylopods and diplopods, your centipedes and your millipedes, they have many, many, many segments. And if you've ever seen these creatures, they are just, they can have lots of segments to them. And every segment that they have has legs on it. Now your centipedes are just going to have 1 pair of legs per segment, where your millipedes are going to have 2 pairs of legs per segment. They will have 1 pair of antennae, and they tend to be larger on the centipedes than they do on the millipedes. In fact, I saw a centipede down in our basement the other day, and I hate those things. They look creepy. And as you read in your book too, the centipedes are also the ones that are much more vicious and predatory in nature, where the millipedes tend to be very, very meek, and they don't really attack anybody. All right, then your insects, which again, you may have studied these when you were younger. You may not have gone quite into this much detail, but they are going to have 3 body segments, the head, the thorax, and the abdomen. They're going to have 3 pairs of walking legs, 1 pair of antennae. Their excretory system is going to be your Malpighian tubules that are going to enable them to excrete waste. The gastric ceca is going to be used in their digestive system that makes them different from the rest of these creatures. No book lungs, no gills, because they don't live in water, but they do have a trachea and spicules that enable them to get the gases throughout their body. And then at some point, they're going to have wings, some point in their life. All right, so that enables you to hopefully see the differences between these different classes that we've studied. And then the next time, we're going to go into a little bit more detail about some of the different classes of insects.